Welcome and thank you for joining us today to talk about Blue River Organic Seed Corn. My name is Mac Ehrhardt. I'm chairman of Albert Lee Seed. I'm here with Jake Hansen, who's our corn and soybean product manager. And in this section, we're going to talk about, I think, 103-day to 107-day corn. We've divided these up this year so you don't have to listen to Jake and I drone on for a whole hour. You can just tune into the section you want to hear. Thanks for joining us today. Again, Mac Ehrhardt, chairman, worked at Albert Lee Seed for 35 years and still got my finger in corn and soybean selection, and I'm just here to back Jake up today and ask him some questions as we go through these slides.
Thank you, Mac. As Mac said, my name is Jake Hansen. I've been with the company now for 15 years and spent about 10 of those here as our corn and soybean product manager, assisting Mac in building this lineup that we are offering you now. Kick this section off here with a pair of 103-day hybrids. And one nice thing about these two hybrids that I can say is I can talk about them at the same time because they're really essentially the same hybrid. 49M23 is a very nice Blue River hybrid. For those of you that are familiar with 42C87, it's very similar to that. It likes to have a little bit more overall population, medium to heavier soils, very strong early vigor. This is one that if you kind of keep it in those good fertility environments, it really does have a big yield potential on it. We've seen this one regularly hitting some trials on heavy ground, even as far west as Colorado in a couple of spots. But the north to south movement on this one is very, very good. I'm comfortable with this one in 110-day corn country as an early hybrid. I think it's got enough vigor, it's got enough plant health to do just that. And right next to it is a brand new hybrid called 4903 PM. And Mac, do you want to talk about what that PM stands for?
Sure. So I think as it's probably obvious to the folks who are looking at the slide, PM stands for pure maize. And if you don't know what pure maize is, it's a naturally occurring genetic construct that prevents this corn from being pollinated by neighboring corn. It can only be pollinated by itself. And so what that means is it's a naturally occurring mechanism to keep your corn from being contaminated by your neighbor's triple or smart stacks corn or acre max corn. And so if you are selling into a market with a tight GMO standard, or you have neighbors that are planting acre max right up to your fence rows and you're nervous about that, pure maize is an excellent choice to make, to rest easy and with confidence, knowing that the grain that you harvest in the fall is not going to have high levels of GMO. In fact, if history repeats itself, it's not going to have any GMO at all because the genetic construct is pretty tight and really does not get cross-pollinated by neighboring corn. Just a word on the hybrids. Again, Jake said they're basically genetically identical, except that the 4903 contains the pure maize genetic construct. And I guess the one thing I'd call out that Jake didn't touch on is we feel these hybrids do their best work on medium to heavy soils. We'd ask you to keep them off the really light sandy ground unless it's irrigated, because they seem to not hold up with as much yield under that sandy ground that isn't irrigated. On regular medium to heavy soils, even in droughty conditions, they seem to do fine. It's just that light sand where they get in trouble. Another thing about these hybrids, because they are so healthy, and they have a very, if you do take them for silage, because they're both can be taken for silage as well. They're nice big plants with excellent silage potential. With a wide harvest window because of that health, they do dry down a little slower. So they're not the fastest drying 103-day that we sell. If you had them, for example, side by side with our 4602, they'd be, what, Jake, 1.5 points, 2 points wetter, probably?
Yeah, 1.5 for sure, wetter. But they flower and they hit that black layer early enough where I think 103-day maturity is very appropriate for these. And then another thing, like you mentioned, Mac, they're both are going to lend themselves to be very, very good silage hybrids. And we're not just saying that because they're big plants. We're saying that because we actually have some data to back that up. We have entered the 49M23 into some silage trials, and it's come back with exceptional quality and very good yields and tonnage as well. So yeah, as a dual purpose, I think they're both going to lend themselves very nicely.
Good. That's probably enough time on those.
Yep. Next up is a pair of 104-day hybrids. The first one being this 84-04 104-day. Very girthy, semi-flex ear. One thing I like about this hybrid is the grain quality. It what I would call near food grade. We have actually had some samples sent in that grain millers in St. Peter, Minnesota have liked. It's a medium tall hybrid. It's got good standability, good roots underneath it. It does tend to act a little bit like a die and dry hybrid if we have a hot, dry, late summer. But this year, with plenty of moisture, it seems like it's holding on to its health quite well. Good tolerance to tar spot and a lot of other northern diseases that we see here. This is one for as far as 104-day goes. I think it's better kept more in zone. I wouldn't push this one too terribly far south, but east to west, just fine. Medium to heavy soils is better. You can position this one into lighter ground as long as it's irrigated, and I think it'll hold up quite well. As you can see there in some of the data that we saw last year, again, exceptional yield. Keeping up with some of the best competitors on the market here, both for traits and conventional. So really, really like this hybrid. If I could change one thing about it, I would like to speed up its emergence a little bit more. It's usually a day, maybe a day and a half behind some things around it. But I think the overall test weight and density of the seed is what kind of lends it to be just a touch slower coming out of the ground.
Yeah, I agree. This is one we do recommend that you wait until the soil is nice and warm before you plant it, so you get it to pop out of the ground.
Right. Yep. And then its old counterpart with the 5104, this was a long time hybrid for us, again at 104-day. If you had to push one of these two hybrids south, the 5104 I think is going to do better. It's got a little bit more robust, a little bit better late season plant health. Again, good roots. This is another one that has been an exceptional dual purpose hybrid for us. Excellent ear flex to it and overall plant flex, I think, as well. And again, we've got plenty of years of silage trials with this one out in Wisconsin and other areas where it did quite well, both for tonnage and for quality.
Good.
Next up, similar to those 103-day hybrids, I can talk about these two very identically because they're genetically the same. Again, one's a pure maize and one is just a regular pure hybrid. But this is another hybrid similar to those other Blue River legacies here. They are big plants. They stand up very well, and they like a little more population to them. Compared to some things around it like the 5104. But both of these have had tremendous yield potential. They've been around on organic farms for a long time, and they both do a lot of things very right. One other notch to the 54 PM 37. It is on grain miller's list, so it does have exceptional grain quality to it as well.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in on these two hybrids. So one thing on the 54C27, this is the last year we're going to sell it, so we have special pricing on it, which you can call your dealer and ask about, or I think the pricing is even in the catalog this year. Is that right, Jake?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah. And the 54 PM37, I think I already gave an explanation of what pure maize is, so I don't have to go over that again. I will call out, because I didn't talk about it yet, we have a few pure maize hybrids to offer this year, including a brand new one, and we will be coming with new pure maize hybrids in the future. Most of our corn that we carry in fact, all the corn that we carry organically is going to come with a purity guarantee, and we have 3 levels of purity guarantee, and the one you see on 54C27 is the pure level, so we guarantee that the seed in the bag is 99% free of GMO. Of course, unlike the pure maize hybrids, it can be contaminated by neighboring corn or cross-pollinated by neighboring corn. And so that's the risk you always face. Jake, if you want to talk about these as one hybrid, can you talk about east-west movement and north-south movement a little bit?
Sure. East to west, I think they hold up very well. If you're pushing it too far west, as you cross into Nebraska or southern South Dakota, I would suggest that these are going to be better under pivot or under irrigation compared to some things around it. I don't think they quite hold up in terms of drought tolerance on those real light soils. South, I think they've got the emergence and the vigor and the late season health to go into 110 plus day corn country very easily as you push into southern Iowa, northern Missouri, parts of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. I think they're going to hold up very well as we move them out of zone.
Got it. Thanks.
Last pair in this section here with 1806, 106-day corn. This is another one that has been a very strong hybrid for us at this maturity. If I'm not mistaken, as far as organic corn goes, this one is, I believe, is number 3 in terms of sales in history. We frequently sell out of this hybrid because it does a lot of things right, both on organic farms and in drier conditions. This has been a very popular hybrid as we move into western Iowa and into Nebraska. It can handle dry land acres very well. It's got plenty of roots underneath it to go down and find moisture. Another hybrid similar to our 8500 or 8495, a little bit shorter statured, but stands extremely well. Fall intactness has been good. It dries fast, even for a dense grain. This one is an accepted hybrid on grain millers list, which is gives it, I think, another advantage in terms of its overall quality. Partnering that with this 107-day, which was brand new last year, 7507. This is a hybrid that has really brought a whole nother level in terms of yield for us in a lot of areas. As you can see in that little data chart there, competing again with some of the best competitors that are out there. Excellent tolerance to tar spot, northern corn leaf blight, Goss's wilt moving west. It's strong out of the ground, does a lot of things right. One little weakness we're noticing on it in this year is southern rust. Really seems to like this hybrid a lot, and we're still learning more about that. Southern rust has been a disease that we've seen the last 2 years, and it's not one that we've seen this far north in my 15 years with the seed house until the last 2. So we're still learning about it, but this is a hybrid so far. That's bringing a lot of yield to the table, and we've got plenty of yield information here that proves just that. A lot of first place wins, a lot of second place wins, and this isn't our own research trials. A lot of these trials are coming directly from outside sources, universities, the first trials, and all across our sales territory here, all across the upper Midwest and as far out as Pennsylvania. A lot of yield potential here. I'm really liking this 107-day.
Yeah, and you'll see a few other hybrids sprinkled in there too with first and seconds, like the 8404. I'll jump in here and just say I think most organic farmers now understand that the hybrids we have in a Blue River bag will compete with the best available hybrids from any other company. And I say that without a shred of being prideful about it. It's simply true. 7507 is just one of the better conventional 107 days that you can buy. We sell it conventionally in our Viking lineup as well, and it's simply as good as anything you can buy. And so please don't think that because because it's certified organic corn, it can't be as good as your Pioneer, your LG, because it's not. It's really not true anymore. The genetics are equivalent. So.
All right. I lied before. I have 2 more to talk about in this section at 107-day. The first one being another legacy Blue River hybrid here with the 57A30. This is one that I think has really had its best performance in parts of eastern Illinois and through Ohio, as where this one has probably been its strongest. Just historically speaking, coming from some of our customers and dealers. Again, it's a little bit bigger plant. Likes to get out of the ground, has great emergence, and it's done well across all soil types that I've seen it. I think the 7507 is going to edge it in terms of overall yield, but this is a hybrid that it's still here, and it's been a very consistent organic hybrid just year after year. The growers that have had it like it. They keep going back to it because it does so many things right on an organic farm. In the last 107 days is kind of a new class of products for us here in what we call Silage Master. And this is a hybrid that is really bred specifically for silage production. And what it's going to bring to the table is a bigger, robust, full flex plant, not just the ear, but the whole plant. As you can see in the picture to the right there, the stalk cross section of a stalk on the right is a Silage Master hybrid. As you can see there, all that white material in that stalk is what's the digestible material going into a cow. So this is one you're really going to plant with confidence, knowing you're going to get exceptional silage out of it, tonnage and quality. Very healthy plant. This one moves north to south, east to west, really about anywhere you want to plant 107-day silage corn. It's been planted in fields from Pennsylvania down to Florida, out as far west as I-29, as we say in that bullet point there. And it's just been an overall exceptional silage type hybrid. Mac, do you have any more to add to that one?
Yeah, I will. So first of all, Silage Master was a new product category for us a couple of years ago, but we've struggled to have seed of it for reasons beyond our control. This year we have seed of 3 different hybrids. We have a 98-day, we have that as a Viking Rise Up hybrid. We have this 107-day, and then we have a 115-day. And we knock on wood, we're going to have good seed supply. If you want to learn more about Silage Master hybrids, please talk to your dealer or your regional sales manager, or give us a call. We also have a nice YouTube video that you can click on and look at where Jace from Maximum Production Genetics, who's their genetic manager there, talks about the advantages of Silage Master products and where they come from. I guess the simplest way to say it that really sold me on this when we started working with them 4 years ago was they're not stuck on brown midrib, they're not stuck on leafy, they're not stuck on any one trait for silage corn. In their opinion, the best silage hybrid is the best silage hybrid. And the way they figure out what the best silage hybrid is they test a whole bunch of them in their breeding program, and they don't test them for height or tonnage alone. They test them for silage quality and their ability to produce more milk per acre. And nobody tests silage corn as hard as those guys do. And they have some really exciting products, and we're happy to have them in our lineup. So check out that other video, or give us a call if you want to learn more about Silage Master. Oh, I will add one other thing, and this goes against every cell of my being as a seed corn salesman. You should plant these Silage Master hybrids at a slightly lower population than your regular grain hybrids, because that's where you're going to get the maximum tonnage and digestibility at slightly lower populations. And we have more instructions on that in our catalog or on our website.